The journey of becoming is not about building something from nothing. It is about discovering what you already are. Good evening, good afternoon, good day, depending on what time you're going to watch this. For me, it's good evening. And it's winter in the Southern Hemisphere. I felt like doing that presenter voice. It's very nice, it's alluring. Anyways, you're not here to discuss winter with me. Even though that is always a nice topic. That's always a nice icebreaker. You're here to discuss, or we're here to have a conversation. Come on, like what's up with the formalities? We're here to have a conversation about being that girl sometimes means accepting that you won't always feel like that girl. Let's get into it. I brought my laptop as usual. You'll be taking some notes. I'll be reading my notes. We get it. I just want to get comfortable. You guys like my pants? This past weekend, I was part of a panel discussion with 3 other women. Phenomenal. Each in their rightful spaces are dominating, are influencing. It was really inspiring. The entire event just left me feeling refreshed, inspired. I was in awe, and I couldn't help but feel personally enriched. I couldn't help but feel though that there was a topic that I personally wanted to get into. Or, I couldn't help but feel after that there was a topic that would have been so fitting for the event that maybe this is the perfect place to bring it up. It is about evolving. It is definitely about evolving. And I found myself thinking about this topic right after the event, a little bit in the middle of it, because a lot of the women came up to me asking questions that seem to be results orientated, which is not a bad thing. We're all trying to get to the version of ourselves that we're like, I'm happy with, I'm proud of, like, finally I'm here. How to, the secret concoction to living your best life, and it's really not that simple. It's really not that simple. And I felt that if there's anything that I really, really could have said this past Saturday, was you should start paying attention to your personal life. I think I said this to my partner. I said, you know what? I think it would have been great if I just said the best teacher, the best experience, the best person to advise you is always going to be you. And funny enough, that your own life will be your own teacher, your own philosopher, your own healer. It really, really is gonna come from your evolution. It's so crazy. It's crazy sometimes. It's really crazy to accept this, but it's only true. My wisdom, the knowledge that I possess, can only come from the experiences that I've lived. And they've made me like, I am currently in a season that is teaching me to be humble, teaching me to accept, teaching me to prioritize and to differentiate between attention, something that needs attention, and the noise. And that's a very achy part to be in. It's a very confusing place to be in, but I'm in it, right? I'm taking my several seats. I'm taking several seats, and I'm learning, and I'm trying to be attentive, and oh God, it is so refreshing. I really love it when life can give you feedback in real time. It's not taking me a year to get to these kinds of revelations. My point is that I'm sitting with my lessons, and I'm sitting with the wisdoms, with the wisdom accompanied. You need to sit with your chaos. You need to sit with your challenges, and the wisdom follows thereafter. It is only in being extremely attentive, extremely vulnerable to the process, vulnerable to the becoming. It is in the evolution of yourself do you end up understanding how. And then obviously you pick up the gems along the way. You listen to it handy now and again. You know what I mean? So there's this book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna. Brianna Westy. Let me just correct that because I don't want to mispronounce people's name. Wiest. Oh, okay. So there's this book by Brianna Wiest called The Mountain is you. I haven't read it, but I did do a bit of research on it, got a bit of notes. I was blown away and I felt that why not bring up this book in a conversation that is oriented around accepting that there are phases in your life, and the best phase to acknowledge is the evolution, is the becoming. And that part is when you don't feel like the poster girl, the it girl, the got it together girl. That part is extremely paramount, or is paramount to the journey that you're taking. So if you haven't read the book, here is a central idea that I really want to read to you guys. So the thing that's blocking you, the mountain that you keep running into, the thing that makes you feel like is standing between you and the life that you want, that mountain is you. It's not your circumstances, it's not other people, it's you. And the work isn't to blow up the mountain. Oh, how poetic. The work is not to blow up the mountain. The work is to understand why it's there in the first place. Wow. That felt like a breath of fresh air. The work is not to blow up the mountain. The work is to understand why it exists in the first place. And baby, we all have a couple of mountains in our lives. In fact, we all have mountains. It is a discovery into that mountain. It is a journey into discovering why. And we're going to get into that. Because that mountain, those walls, those patterns, those are the things that are getting in your way. They didn't appear out of nowhere. They formed because at some point we kept it safe, right? It was the relationship that wasn't really a problem 2 years ago, but it's kind of creeping up on you now. And now you don't know how to set boundaries. And now it comes to work and you don't know how to tell your colleague that actually, no, that's not my work to do. Example. Or a family member, right? Or whatever it is for you. They were a response to something, a protection mechanism, and somewhere along the way, you outgrew it. You outgrew this mountain, and yet the mountain stayed. So when you feel like you're not that girl, when you feel like everyone around you is moving and you're standing still, when you feel like you know where you want to be, but somehow you can't reach her, that feeling is the mountain. And the mountain is the path. I just love my notes sometimes. I think we've all been sold a version of self development that looks like someone's highlight reel. You know, the abs, the nyash. She finally graduated. And you're just sitting there asking yourself, how did this person wake up with so much confidence? And it was theirs, bum, bada boom, bum. This person just woke up one day and all of a sudden, the bitch was discipline. Imagine. Why you? Why Wayna? Why did you wake up with this discipline and this confidence? And I'm sitting there on my couch thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? Why does my process of becoming feel like unraveling as opposed to building? I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. That is the process, unfortunately. I'm also traumatized. That is the process. The process is the unraveling. The journey to becoming her is the unraveling. It is never, unfortunately, never going to be the destination. It is never going to feel like the final process of I'm building. It is a constant knowing of self. And let me tell you something, that is the most feminine thing you can do. It is accepting the process of evolution, of seasons, because your body works in seasons, right? Your menstrual cycle, for all the lovely ladies who didn't know, honey, you and the moon. So Brianna, in her book The Mountain Is You, addresses this tension that we feel between the woman that we want to be and the person that we're currently stuck with, right? We feel so stuck in our bodies. She addresses this tension and she says that Your nervous system is actually recognizing the distance between the person you are today and the person that you're capable of becoming. I love that. Your nervous system recognizes that it's not a matter of distance. In fact, it's not a matter of impossible. It's not a matter of unfamiliarity. It is a registration. This is what is possible. This is what you're capable of. This is what the proximity, it's kind of crazy actually when you think about it that, damn, my nervous system is registering to me that all that I want to be is in sight. My nervous system is telling me that this distance, this tension is not a sign of failure. It is a signal to me of all that is possible, all that exists, all that I feel is already here for me to hold on to and grab onto. That's amazing. And so I'm then understanding that that discomfort is information. That information is what I need to become. And on a side note, I just like to say that time is in continuum, past, present, future, all happening at the same time. And sometimes I just need to remind myself of that. I need to remind myself that everything that I want is is in is in reach. It's happening right now. In the spirit of being honest, I too have had seasons in my life where I was uncomfortable with my own process. I think I definitely mentioned it at the beginning that the season that I'm in is definitely a season of humility. It is attentive. I need to be attentive to it. I need to respond to it critically. And it is not always nice. It is not always comfortable. I am uncomfortable, to say the least. But I understand that even if I don't feel capable, even if I don't feel like I have what it takes, even if it feels like there is a distance between finally being the person who finally has all the answers, I know that it is in the in between that I end up discovering the point of everything, discovering myself, discovering Utandiwe. And that is an ever going process. Everything that you're going through, all the unraveling, all the uneasy, is the point. That mountain that you're avoiding, that's the point, that's the path, that's the you. Get in there and give a report back to yourself and ask yourself, how did you feel? What did you learn? Give an honest feedback. It is in that intimate space. And it takes a lot of discipline, if I'm being honest with you. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of sacrifice to accept, firstly, that you could be wrong. Another person could be right. You could have seen something differently. That life is not fair. That life positions others in better spaces than you. Sometimes you're unqualified, qualified, all that stuff. You have to sit with that and ask yourself questions and get in there and get out. That is literally the journey in a nutshell. And that's where you're going to find the perfect version of yourself. That girl version, by the way, of you. There's something that I want to say about stillness. Mm, what an offensive word. At least for me sometimes. There is the avoidance of stillness. We fill our life with journal prompts, with friends, going out, with even women to model ourselves in. All this is not bad. And we even go out, we will do, we do, we do, we do, we do, we do. And all this is not, it's not bad. It's not inherently bad. You didn't do a bad thing. But it is sitting with the stillness. It is sitting with the ache and the pain and the discomfort. Do you recognize what the pain is trying to communicate to you? What your life, is demanding from you? It's not running away from the problem. It is addressing the problem. The avoidance of self is going to continue to create a distance between the person that you are and the person that you want to become. I want to repeat that. Continued avoidance of stillness will perpetuate a distance between the person you are and the person that you're trying to become. Brianna makes this point in her book. She says that you can't think your way into a new identity. Beg to differ, but let's go on with it. You can't only think your way through a new identity. You have to feel. Yeah, that's actually the compensation. That's actually the compensation because that's the power of visualization, right? You think and you feel it. You're charged by it. And anything that sparks enough curiosity and charges you emotionally, will you do something about it? Feeling your way through means sitting with yourself long enough to actually hear yourself. I love that. Feeling something enough means that you sit with it long enough so that you actually get to hear from yourself. That's what stillness does. Stillness gives you a report. Stillness says, hey, like, are you aware? Like, you kind of need to check in on yourself. I love that. I want to read this part to you. Being at peace with stillness, being content with the season you're in, even if it's not the season you ordered, because you cannot excavate something that you're running from. You cannot excavate something that you're running from. You cannot excavate the problem if you don't even know that it exists. And the only way to know that it exists is if you sit and you hear from yourself, if you hear what is disappointing you, if you discover it by yourself, for yourself. That's how you transition into the person that you want to be. There's not a single human being on this earth, I believe, that is going to meet a level of transcendence without excavating something. Maybe your version of transcendence looks a particular way, but I think the kind that brings people together and makes the world go round, makes the world go round, makes rooms lighter and brighter, and essentially is successful on those fronts. I think you can't transcend without excavating. How? In order to embody or to encapsulate these ideas in your day-to-day life, I want to say something to you. And I've been saying it. I haven't been saying something to you, but I want to say something to you that I believe is going to be quite important. It's going to be the vessel that holds knowledge. I believe in order to fully envision these words taking residence in your body, there is something important to take hold of. And I'm probably going to repeat this in every other video that I have. But it's important to understand that you are already whole. The becoming that we're talking about is simply the version of ourselves that exists throughout time. We just need to catch up to that. But we're already that thing. We are already a complete project. In fact, we're not projects. We're already a complete creation. There is nothing more or less that you can do. There's nothing more or less that should convince you of how great you already are. And I want you to sit with that because that's the vessel that's going to hold so many other ideas. That's the vessel that's going to judge information. You're perfect the way you are. Believe that. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here if your existence was for nothing. For me, I root this understanding in my faith. Everything that I already am has been spoken into existence. I am word made flesh. I am the Lord's complete desire for humanity or for civilization or what else can I? That is essentially my relationship with myself, regardless of the seasons that I'm in. I may not feel like it, but I know that my purpose, my existence comes from something, from somewhere. I am a combustion of cells and energy, and all of me came about, and here I am. My existence matters. I am thought made form. So are you. So the journey of becoming isn't about building something from nothing. It is about uncovering who you already are. I want to say that again. The journey of becoming is not about building something from nothing. It is about discovering what you already are. We can leave it right here, actually. The version of you that you're reaching for, she's not waiting for you somewhere in the future. She's waiting for you inside your present moment. That's what I said at the beginning. Time is in continuum. Past, present, future. We're all happening at the same time. The future you, she's here. She's here right now. You got to start acting like her. The future you, that girl that's not afraid to be perceived, that girl that's not afraid to get up and get shamani, her shmani, that girl is here. That girl that is audacious and powerful and rewrites the rules, she's not waiting for someone to give her permission. She is being her right now, okay? Clock it. So I want to leave you with something sweet. When you feel like you're not that girl, because you're going to feel like that a couple of times more, you're going to feel excited. And then one day you're not going to feel excited. And then you're going to doubt that you were that girl. Whenever you do get there, I want you to recognize that feeling. I want you to understand that feeling should not say to you that you're behind. That feeling should not inform you that you're lacking. You have wasted your time, that you're behind on something, that others are fortunate and you're not fortunate. I want you to recognize that that feeling that's trying to pull you back and convince you and steal from you, steal your glory. I want you to recognize that that feeling is the mountain and the mountain is the path. That path needs to be discovered. I want you to walk that path. I want you to confront that mountain, okay? Because in that mountain, you'll find yourself, you'll find the process. And it's all happening right now. It's all a process. You can't run away from it. I want you to feel that. I want you to hold on to that. I want you to give yourself the grace and the patience, because we'll all be coming. We'll all be coming. It's happening all at the same time. You're going to make it. You're going to do it. I love you. Thank you very much for watching this video. And just remember, you're that girl.